So I have been digging into the Bermans amplifiers. So I'm just gonna talk about this. So we've got a video over here. I'm gonna show you that's from Stereo Mojo, and it's Berman's amp that he's testing. I'm gonna show you this last part of this test. There's a whole lot of great information that you can glean from this video, so be sure and check that out. But I just want to start with this because this is going to be something important as we move forward. And so we're going to run a little bit of this video. Pay attention.
Our current. All right. Is he going to do a 3K? Is it really a 3K? I'm going to say it is. With the other tests, I think that's a slam dunk, but you never know. Here we go. Let's roll it up. 40 hertz, 1 ohm. 34,
You can see we got 34.
The voltage dropped to
14.8.
14.8. And we pulled 417 amps of current. I took away the decimal.
And that's real number. But he's also going to run it in dynamic here in a minute. We'll see that. So what's going on with these amplifiers? Well, they're from Temu, or at least Temu's selling these. I believe this one was after taxes and all was like 130 some odd dollars for a 3K. That's a good price, right? And it's relevant. See what he does here on the dynamic run. So he's doing 4,700 watts on the dynamic run. And that's a real number at 14.8. But I want to show you guys something else. Now, this is the part where it caught my eye when he took it apart or opened it up. I was paying attention. And I think it's down there towards the end. Okay. So if we look at this amp on the inside, okay, and then we go over to slaps and we look at the slaps 3K, which is this is the SCD 3K. Okay, we're going to open it up and we're going to look at the inside of this. And if I can make this bigger. All right. Now, look at every detail. So we got the motherboard right here, the little daughter board right here. We've got the MOSFETs. We've got these conductors here. We got the 4 top caps. Got the 2, all the coils. You can see the blue inside the coils right here, that ring they're wrapped on and everything. So we go back to this amp. You see the same blue inside here, the same tom caps, the same daughter board. Everything is identical. And it is my, I have studied these back and forth. You see, you got the 3 red caps there. I'll go back to slaps. We got the 3 red. It's the same amplifier. So let me look at something else here. I want to show you something else. This amplifier lists for $199, and this other amp you could get for about $60 or $70 less. Here's the kicker, though. If you're buying this other amp, this one from Temu, which is, in my opinion, the same identical amplifier, you're saving a little money, yes. But the problem with that is you have Temu warranty, which means no warranty. Well, if you buy it and it blows up, you do something stupid to it, it's a brick and you're going to have to get it repaired at your own cost. Whereas if you buy the same exact amp from Slaps, you're going to pay a little bit more for it, but you got customer service and warranty to back it up. So you can send the amp back, he can give you a new one, and Bob's your uncle. That, to me, is worth the difference in price. I want to... So that's the stuff that I'm looking at. Now, the other thing, the Temu amps, that Bermans amp, well, first of all, if you notice on Slaps' website, I'm going to go back here so I can show you. Of that line, the SCD line, the biggest one is 5,000 watts. And if we look at the 5,000 watt amplifier here, this is another detail I wanted to point out for you guys so you'll know what you were doing when you were buying things. So on the 5,000 watt amp, you've got two 12-volt ends and two ground ends, and then a remote, okay? Same amp line. And that one, by the way, is 329. It's probably less through temu. But that's not the point. The point is they use the same exact pinout with two alt gauge powers in and two grounds in, all the way up to the 18,000 watt amp. And at about 8,000 watts, you've pretty much maxed out what that particular connector can do. Because a whole lot of your amp's power handling comes from this power supply down here on the back. So if we pull this up and make this big, I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is your input for your power right here. All right, all of these inputs. And this, part of this is the cooling for the power supply. These four lugs right here. So whenever you're trying to pull great gobs of current, like that 3,000 watt amp pulled over 400 amps through that. And this one, being the 5K, would pull probably 500 or 600 amps. So that's a lot of power to pull through here, and all of this gets warm. Okay. Now you take that same exact input right there and put it on a 12,000 or a 16,000 or an 18,000 watt amp. It's going to get really warm, and you're probably going to burn up a bunch of stuff down here on the end. Will it work? Yes. But I think it's the hookup point for the power to go into the amplifier is too small for the amount of power they're going to try to pull out of that amp, and you're almost guaranteed to have a failure there at some point, especially if you're doing the stupid stuff that us bass heads do. Or if you're a meathead that just got a car, and wants to put an amp in there, and you're going to throw in something that's inexpensive and just hook up a couple of power wire and a ground wire to it, you're going to fry it. So even for the 5K, the 5K is probably fine running two positives in and two grounds. But anything bigger than that, you're going to want to use doublers. You're going to want to use extremely short runs of power. You're going to want to use the thickest possible wire you can get in those holes to give more heat sink action for the heat to be dissipated by the wires. And the doublers will act as a additional cooling, and something for the power to soak into. Because right now, all that heat's going to build up right here on this board, and that's not going to be good for the board. It's just, in this case, this amplifier is fine, this 5K, but when you take that same input and hook it up to something that's doing 12K or 15K, 18K, you're talking about, freaking 2,000 amps, dude. 2,000 plus amps trying to go through these four connectors, and they're going to get hot as a firecracker and just absolutely destroy that board down there. They're not going to last. That's the problem. And if you're buying from slaps and it don't last, you can send it back. But if you're buying from this other company, this temu company, you don't have that option. The amp will work, and it will probably make its power. But it's the longevity that I am worried about. And with that much power, and that's why slaps doesn't carry anything bigger than the 5K. They make their power, they do a real good job, and they make more of it. If you're interested in those amps, I suggest you buy one from Slaps. That way, if and when it fails or has a problem, you can get a refund, or not a refund, but you can get it exchanged. You have a warranty option, and you're not going to pay a lot more from Slaps than you would from temu, but you are going to get a warranty, and that's the key. So this is what I want to talk about. Is understand the equipment you're buying. It don't matter whose name is on it. Understand what you're buying and pay attention to how it functions and how it works. Also, keep in mind your potential warranty and exchange ability and your customer service ability. If you want to take the gamble and go through temu and buy one of the Bermans amps, I highly suggest that you stay below the 5,000 watt amp. If you buy one of the higher ones, the bigger ones, you're almost guaranteed to have problems. And if you do decide to go that route, at bare minimum, you're going to want to cram the biggest possible power and ground wires you can get. You're going to want to use doublers on all those connections so that heat has somewhere else to go besides building up on that board inside the amp. You stand the best chance of not frying it. Also, you don't want to run that run below 1 ohm under any circumstances because you're, again, going to be pulling more heat through that than it's designed to take. So that's what I'm trying to say. This is a community service that I'm providing, right? This is what I'm doing. Um, you know, take care with what you're buying and understand what equipment you're buying. It doesn't matter what name is on it. The name dictates the customer service that you're going to be able to get. The name dictates the warranty and all that stuff, reliability of the business. But the equipment is going to dictate how all the rest of that stuff goes, and it doesn't matter what name's on it. So yes, you can buy this from straight from China through through Temu or through any other. They have another brand that you can buy on Alibaba that's the same brand that has the same amp. You can buy them that way, but just know that you're the one responsible for the warranty, not them. You're not getting any warranty of any kind, and also know that there's not enough power input for those bigger amps to be safe and continuously run. You're going to have to build that into the system yourself whenever you set it up. So let's see what we got. A few comments over here. I'm going to pull these up, and so we can talk about this. So Mr. Boomy said they are decent from what I've heard. Yes. I would say anything from the 5K and down is going to be a pretty solid amplifier. Also, Verver is made by them. Dude, like, trust me, a whole lot of brands are made by the same company. That amplifier line is a pretty good amplifier line, but it has its limits. They're pushing the wattage output way too high for that power input that you're seeing. And it's the same one from the 3K up. And it's okay for 3,000 watts, 5,000 watts, barely okay for 8,000 watts. Anything bigger than that, and you're trying to pull way too much current through those connectors, and they will eventually fail. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take, and you're going to be the one getting it repaired at that point. 3K. Yeah. So the Verver 3K, I haven't looked at the Verver, but I'm assuming it's the same amp. I don't know. I have no idea. I can't speak on that one. Not honestly. But this is a 5K right here at 329. And then you also got to remember shipping and all that stuff. That's all important. So the price may be really cheap on Alibaba or Temu, but the shipping may end up kicking you in the butt, the taxes. And then you got to deal with no customer service, no warranty. It's a paperweight. If and when you blow it up, it's a paperweight. And what I'm seeing, anything bigger than an 8,000 watt, it's almost guaranteed to become a paperweight at some point. And I'm pretty sure this is why Alan doesn't sell those, because he's an engineer. He understands what's happening there. He sees that future. It's like, do I really want to sell an 18,000 watt amp that is almost guaranteed to come back because people don't know how to use it, and it was not really the best design for that big of an amp? No. He don't want to have to deal with that, so he don't sell them. Will they make their power? Probably, for at least a little bit. But it's a yeah. Have a Slaps 8K? Yes. Yes, absolutely, brother. If I swap my under the hood AGM with excess power, Titan 8, Power 5, will I be fine with my GMC voltage and battery regulator that's in line already? You can't put that battery under the hood. You shouldn't put any lithium under the hood ever, even if it says it's rated for under the hood. And no, oh, the Verver 3, okay, it's half bridge. Yeah, it's not the same amp then. Um, uh, but as far as the charging and everything, it'll be fine. But you know, you're going to want to locate that inside the vehicle, and then use your power wires that you'd be running from the under the hood to the back as your for your use those to send power back to your vehicle so it can start and do all of its stuff. Create a dummy battery under the hood, but you don't want to put that under the hood. They don't need to be in that temperature range. Uh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know nothing about Verver. Haven't dug into that at all. Uh, Excess power. Yeah, no, we don't. No lithium under the hood, man. Just don't trust us. Okay. No, it's a bad idea. Don't put it on the hood. Put it inside the vehicle. Run power wire and ground wire to that point under the hood. Use a little block of wood or whatever. Create yourself a little dummy battery up there to connect it to. Run it that way. Keep that thing inside where you are. The lithium batteries are happiest whenever they're in the same environment that a human being is happy. Okay, they're not happy under the hood of a car. You'll have a severely reduced performance and danger of all kinds of things. So you don't want them that hot. Um, on those extreme hot days, even just hot out in the sun days, that's the limit of whatever. So you don't want to do that. It's like you're looking at 160, 170 degrees and stuff under the hood on a hot day with the engine running and everything working hard, and that's way too hot for lithium to be effective. Um, Excess power. Heard mixed. Half people still use it fine. Say, yeah, it'll work until it don't. you know, I mean, a 2-year-old can run a skill saw too until it can't. Right? The same concept. It's just because it will work doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Um, all right, let's see here. Jay says I bought the Bermans 6500 half bridge. I ran it for a few months really well at half and on, but it eventually pooped. Right. And that's just, you were asking too much for the amp. I mean, you said it's a half bridge, so it's probably rated at 1 ohm. I'm just guessing. I have no idea. But can you get away with stuff like that eventually? I mean, yes, at least for a length of time. But whenever you're dropping into half ohm and quarter ohm territory, it's every time your amp turns on, you're like, yay, it's good for one more run. Because that's kind of what that world is, man. It's an imminent failure waiting to happen. But whenever you're working with an amplifier that already has less than optimal power input, then you're asking that design to pull that much more current. It's already not really good for the current it's pulling, but you're asking to pull way more current, and that will fail the board. It's going to fail it every time. Yeah, that'll insulate it from the heat, but it doesn't change the ambient heat that builds up inside the thing. It'll keep the heat from the radiant heat off of it, but the ambient temperature is still going to come up, and that temperature being high is what's going to cause the cells to not function as well. And it's like anytime lithium gets past a certain temperature range or below a certain temperature range, the cells don't work as well. So it becomes less efficient, which means it builds up more heat, and then that snowballs and causes even more problems. They're designed to work inside of a temperature range, and it's not just like a keep it from burning kind of thing. It's the way the chemistry works. It needs to be within a certain temperature range to work. And everyone has its own temperature range. But lithium does not like to be hot any more than it likes to be cold. Uh, yep. And the problem with that is you were, but that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is you have no way to recover that. You know, it's like, okay, I guess I'll do something else because you can't like warranty it, right? That's the problems with those. Uh, so John said he's running 3 Bermans amplifiers. Yep, and the 6500. And like I said, anything under 8,000 watts, that power supply is good. But they're using that same power supply for that same architecture for that same power supply in much, much bigger amps. And that's where the problem is. But yeah, I believe the amp is a good solid amp all the way up to 8,000 watts. They just stopped improving the architecture for the power supply and kept adding more power. And that's where the problem starts to come in, is the bigger ones. Um, and then the other issue is you have no warranty options. But they're solid amps if you're treating them properly and you actually know how to run an amplifier and how to install it, how to do it the right way. You can get away with a lot more. But the amount of money you save buying the temu version versus one from Slaps, you're sacrificing that warranty, you're sacrificing that customer service. So which would you rather have? Save a little money and get the same equipment but with no backup to it, or spend a little bit more money, get the same exact equipment but have a recourse when something breaks? That's really the question you have to ask yourself. And I get it. Everybody's trying to save money. But if you do buy something from Slaps, you can use my discount code and knock some more change off of it when you buy it. CAE will save you money off of Slaps. Um, let's see here. Even these off brands. That's not exactly the right way of putting it, but pretty much every manufacturer on the planet right now is actually getting their stuff built in China or Korea because it's infinitely cheaper to do it that way. They make more money. And getting something built in the United States, the amp would be 10 times the cost at the end. It's not sustainable. So all of the companies out there, all of them are building their stuff overseas. It's not the name brand that's on it that makes it good. It's the design of the equipment that makes it good. Uh, but this Bermans is kind of hitting the thing, and I wanted to get out here and talk about it. Um, so people that are interested in the Bermans amplifier would know what to expect, all right, and how to treat the equipment. If you're buying anything less than the 8K, you're probably going to be fine. Everything's going to be hunky dory. If you try to buy the 12K, 16, 18K amps, it's dynamite. I mean, you're just waiting for it to blow up because it's pulling way more current into that amplifier than that wiring configuration can handle, and it's going to get hot, real hot, and over a short period of time, maybe a mediocre period of time, maybe a few days, maybe a couple of months, it's going to break. It's just not designed. That power supply is not capable of handling that much current. 2,000 amps is no joke. Um, that's a lot of current, you know. So if you do decide to go that route, keep in mind that you need to beef up the wires running into that thing as much as you absolutely possibly can, and make those runs nice and short, open to air where they can get cooling because they're going to get hot. All that stuff has to be taken into mind. That's a lot of power to pull through 2 alt gauges and two alt gauge positives and 2 alt gauge grounds. That's the problem. Now, if you're looking at something that's 8,000 watts or less, 5K or 3K or whatever, it's going to be fine. The only thing then you want to keep in mind is you have no warranty with temu, with anybody buying the Bermans. The Bermans just doesn't come with a warranty. So if you want the same equipment in that range, go to Slaps, SLAPZ. Use discount code CAE. You're going to get the same equipment as the 5K and down, and you're going to get a little bit higher price, but you're also going to get a warranty and customer service, and that's the key. Um, yeah, I would almost guarantee you there's a whole lot of equipment out there running the same exact board, and as long as you got it down below 8,000 watts, I think it's fine. Then it's a matter of customer service. Um, now, um, yeah, that's the other thing is people are confused as to whether it's a half bridge or a full bridge. And honestly, I'm not even sure because I've seen it written up both ways. But I think it is a full bridge. I'm almost positive it is a full bridge. But you said Big D, he did it on the 3K. Yeah, the way the capacitors and everything are laid out, it looks like a full bridge amplifier. And also on Slap's website, they do say it's a full bridge amplifier. And I trust Alan's opinion on everything. Alan's a pretty sharp guy. Um, I was asking the Bermans 6500 to run two SmackDown V218s at half an ohm. No half ohm. That's shake and bake. Was cranking it daily. Demanded too much from it, but they shouldn't rate at half an ohm. Exactly. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, half ohm is no blow, no go. Slaps rates them at 1 ohm. Like I said, will they do it? Yes, but the question is how long. It's not a question of will it fail. It's a question of how long is it going to take to fail, because it will fail. Half ohm is too low. It's not the problem is the power. Okay, when you pull more power out of that circuit than it's designed to take, it's going to create heat, and it's going to create it right there in the power supply area where the wires are coming in. That's going to be a lot of hot right there, and the more current you pull through there, the more heat you generate. It's just going to make it break. It's like running a car too fast. Eventually, it's going to overheat, and when it does, it's going to break. You know. Uh, I don't know. I'd have to look into it, but that's a very vague amplifier description. I would need to dig into that specific amplifier. Um, yes, true to a point. Now, if you do everything perfectly and you do everything exactly right and you stay below 1 ohm, you could probably get away with running a 12K with that power input. But you need to run doublers on everything. You need to run oversized wire, doubled up. So you need to run 4 grounds and 4 positives. And everything has to be right, less than or at more than 1 ohm, not down below it, all that stuff. And you need to be paying attention to what's happening, how hard you're beating on stuff before you turn it down, watching temps on things. You need to be really focused, but you can get away with it. The problem that comes in whenever it does break, which inevitably it will, what do? You got a paperweight. You're going to send it off to get it repaired. That's all you can do. So a lot of the times what's causing the limits on power is how much you can get in, because that's the important thing. And it isn't just about your electrical in your vehicle. It's about the conduit that you're sending that power into the amplifier with. Those big old doublers are way more important than you think. They act like a heat sink. They let that part inside the amplifier that's taking that power, those rails, they let that actually share heat to those doublers, and they give more area for heat to soak into and more surface area for heat to be able to dissipate to keep the thing running cool, because that's where the real train wreck comes in when you get into real high current stuff. I mean, sure, the MOSFETs can get hot, and that's what heats up the case of the amplifier. But we're talking about the power coming into it. There's a big issue there, and people don't talk about that enough, and that is definitely a problem. Um, so things shipped from Temu get damaged in transit. That's the other thing. You get the amplifier in, especially one of those big ones. It weighs like 30 pounds. It's in 2 boxes, sure, but one good drop and it's destroyed. And you would get a destroyed amp and you're just stuck with it. So, and yeah, I know. Can pick up. I don't spend more than a couple $100 with any company that I can pick up the phone and just call them. Yeah. That copies of Ruthless Amps. Oh my God. And here's the thing. So when you're looking at Alibaba, the funny thing is you're going to see a whole lot of stuff like Kenwood, Pioneer, all these different companies, Sony, they'll have all of them. But the thing is, there's either one or two things happening. Either they have made the amplifier for that company and they're now selling a bunch of them shadily, and it's literally the same exact amplifier, like literally identical, or it's a clone of the amplifier and you don't know which. But both those situations are shady. And then what's really bad is whenever those Temu, not Temu, whenever those Alibaba fake amplifiers end up in the store shelves in the United States, selling alongside the brands that they're supposed to be, and customers are buying them, and they may or may not be even the right equipment. It's bad enough that that you're jacking the company out of their R&D and their money, but by buying this fake version, and it may be the same amp, but then what if it's not even the same amp? What if it's just a piece of shit in a case? You're paying that amp price for it. It's like the weeds are deep when it comes to dealing with Chinese imports. You got to really know how to navigate that. Uh, let's see here. Yeah, no kidding, dude. Can I run lithium that is safe for 6,000 watts of bass and a 4K for mids and highs? Yeah, but unfortunately, most of them are out of stock right now. If you hold off and hit Trunk Thunder Lithium up, um, probably going to be a month or so, maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe a month and a half. They're going to have everything back in check. They're getting hit so hard that they can't keep up with the stock is flying out of the shelves so fast that they can't keep up with it. So they're trying, but the reason is it's a great battery at a reasonable price. But head over to Trunk Thunder Lithium, and for that, I would pick up the 10K version 3. Order one of those as soon as they come back in stock. I would buy somebody's used equipment before I would order anything from Temu. Yeah, 4K to your highs, Jesus, man. Oh no, man. I got friends that are running 8K and all kind of crap. So they're not actually putting that much power on them. It's available, but the speakers don't take that much power. So it's all about creating that dynamic headroom, and it works just fine. I got the friends I have do crazy shit, so that doesn't surprise me at all. Um, I don't ever see any need to have that much power going to the highs, but a lot of guys will run 1,000 watts to a tweeter. At least that's what they have hooked up. They don't actually get that much power into the tweeter, but they'll have it hooked up to a 1,000 watt amp. I've seen it over and over again. Crazy shit. Anyway, guys, this is a short video. I just want to talk about that Bermans a little bit and explain what I have been learning as I've been digging deeper and deeper into this. So, will it work? Yes. I would stay away from anything bigger than the 5K to be safe, and understand that you're sacrificing warranty for a less price. If you're interested in getting that style of amplifier, the Slaps SCD is the same exact amplifier, and you get a warranty and you get customer service. So if you're wanting to get one of the ones that are 5,000 watts or less, just head over to Slaps, use discount code CAE, and pick one up and actually get a warranty and customer service. And you guys have a good one. Thanks, guys. Peace.